Welcome to another episode of Hempfield Happenings. I'm Ace Brown.
And I'm Connor Wettig. We're back to bring you the latest stories from around the school district. From athletics to academics and everything in between, we've got it all right here.
This is the October episode, so stay tuned.
First up, we're talking about Hempfield graduate David Martin Robinson, who's been making waves as he gets to the NFL. Brooklyn Nolt takes a look.
An unwavering belief in a little boy's dream is what the new Tennessee Titans tight end and Hempfield graduate says is what got him to where he is today.
When I was real young, I always loved football. I wasn't one of the kids that would watch NFL football and kind of like fall in love with teams or players and know like names and stuff, but I just love like that, like the sport, like just the action of playing and seeing the crowd reactions. That's big for me. I love like just seeing eruptions in the sport and just never giving up on that goal. And I kind of just had my mindset on that from a very young age.
Facing injuries and getting diagnosed with depression didn't stop David's journey to fulfilling his dream.
I would say my motivation was just probably unwavering belief and support from the people around me. Like that was the biggest thing, because there were definitely times where like I would question if my body was even meant to play this sport at a certain level, because I knew like I never really lost faith in my ability to play it, but my body's like ability to withstand it, especially since I felt like I had been doing like everything right.
David's character never failed to rise above the others.
David is just a great kid. I mean, his character's second to none. I think people recognized him coming to our game with York. He's got a level head. Here, this guy is now making money in the NFL.
I would say he definitely had an all-in attitude throughout his entire career. He did whatever we asked him to do, whether or not it was play quarterback, play wide receiver, play some tight end, but which would become his college position. Even helped us out on defense when we really needed an extra force back there, and that nature of doing whatever we needed for the team over himself was definitely probably the thing that sets him apart in my mind.
After hundreds of players at training camp, the NFL teams are required to have 53 players on their active roster, David now being one of them.
My mind was kind of blank when I went in there. I was, just ready for whatever was about to happen. I saw one of my teammates walking out, who I'm pretty close with, and he was smiling. So like, I don't know, I felt like something was up. So I went in there and I don't know, it was just like, I was ready.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
You don't have to thank us. You earned it.
Yeah.
We're not giving these spots out.
Yeah, I know. But you guys gave me the opportunity. That's all I wanted and needed. You know what I mean? I'm just thankful.
Man, excited about your future, man. You got a bright future.
I got so many emotions right now.
No, it's
going to take a second to process.
Yeah, it is. It's going to hit.
We're going to be counting on you at some point this year, I can guarantee it.
David Martin Robinson's story shows anyone can reach their dream, going from a little boy with an unwavering belief to making the Titans' 53-man roster. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Brooklyn Nolt.
And then we got us a football team.
Yep.
Next, we have Chris Decker exploring the Athletics Hall of Fame.
Wow, that's crazy. That's insane. The Hempfield Hall of Fame is receiving some new inductees. But what does that mean exactly?
The inductions for the 19th Annual Hempfield Hall of Fame were held on September 13th.
Helped us. We're trying to get the message out to the community more because, especially for the older athletes, sometimes they get forgotten. So we try to make sure, we're trying to get it out to the community more so we get more nominations.
I love the Hall of Fame because more than anything, it lets people come back and kind of see old friends, old teammates, coaches. and kind of celebrate the good part of extracurricular activities.
The inductees this year played in Hempfield athletics as far back as 1993.
It is incredible to be back at Hempfield. I've moved to Washington, D.C., but it's wonderful to come back and just, visit my alma mater.
Well, my dad is good friends and was a teacher here with all the folks that are on the committee and stuff, and so they had told him and he wanted to tell me, so it was kind of cool. He came up to our house and made this big announcement out of it and everything like that, so he was pretty excited about it too.
While most of the inducted former athletes no longer play the sport they were inducted for, they are honored to be finally noticed for all that hard work they put in when they were a student at Hempfield High School.
I don't run track anymore. I'm more active as a mom and managing my son.
I went to college and grad school, and now I'm a scientist with the U.S. Geological Survey, and I work up on the Great Lakes, so I'm working Lake Ontario. Some friends and family are here. My quarterback, Bo Eckert, is here, so that's really great to see him. Volleyball colleague. It's just Grant Schonauer, and so it's really neat to be back. In fact, my cousin's on the school board now, and so he's even here too.
Visiting the Hall of Fame induction ceremony is an interesting way to see how the extensive amount of work our athletes put in can pay off. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Chris Decker.
Cell phone policies are always a hot topic in schools. Noah Valley takes us through how rules are changing around us and what that could mean for Hempfield's students and staff.
Coming back to school this year, more and more schools have implemented policies regarding students' cell phone use. Here at Hempfield, our board has opted to delay that decision one more year. However, people in the community and schools still have very strong opinions regarding this issue. And while cell phones assist people every day, they are not necessarily meant for the classroom. In fact, according to the U.S. Department of Education, 43% of high schools have restrictions on students' cell phone use.
Certainly, cell phone use, if you just go back the last 20 years, it is definitely a challenge in educational settings like high schools, like ourselves here at Hempfield High School. The issue of mental health issues, bullying.
As Mr. Conrad stated, cell phones have a great effect on mental health. In fact, according to the National Association for Health, 77% of them say that cell phones contribute to a declining mental health state.
There's a lot of really compelling research there in terms of the relationship to the mental health crisis, specifically the connection between social media and smartphone access, kids suffering from isolation, feelings of depression, anxiety, self-harm, attempted self-harm, and even sadly attempted suicide and suicide.
According to this study conducted by the Franklin Marshall College, 84% of Pennsylvania voters believe that schools should be allowed to limit students' cell phone use. Politicians are taking this to their state house and Senate to try to find a resolution to this national epidemic amongst our students.
Schools, through the Mental Health and School Safety Grant Program. That program's funded $100 million statewide, and it's for anything that districts need for the purpose of school safety and mental health services. So an eligible use of those dollars now is for schools to buy lockable bags that the technology can be safely secured in.
And incidentally, this summer, I pulled some data from last year, and I was invited by our school board when this issue was brought up to present to them our data here at Hempfield High School.
And speaking of Hempfield, teachers can currently make their own policies for cell phone use here, including the full collection of these devices from all students. Regarding the example mentioned, some people believe that these restrictions would actually be for the betterment of the student body.
To school students, I get you may not like it, but give it a try. And I think you'll find that it brings you peace and it improves the school building.
While there may be concerns regarding these new procedures and student freedom, 1% of students here at Hempfield experienced some sort of cell phone infraction last year. Mr. Conrad found some data that takes these facts to another level regarding the disciplinary processes of these issues.
All of them that involve 55 total students. in our entire school of over 2,300 students. It involved 55 students. And what that meant is students with multiple referrals, there were 26.
Cell phones can be a valuable educational resource, but their distractions can't be overlooked. As we move forward, it is important for educators, students, and parents to make policies that harness the benefits of these devices while minimizing their downsides. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Noah Valley.
All right, I'm here with Dr. Brossman, and I'm here to talk about All In. So All In seems like a pretty bold statement. How would you define All In means of the high school?
So All In is all about doing your best, giving everything you got every day, and being able to look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and say, I did everything I could to accomplish my goals.
So how does All In translate to academic success?
To be successful academically or athletically or musically or really with anything, you need to give it your all. If you only put a little bit into something, you're only going to get a little bit out. The more you put in, the more you get out, whether that's academically, athletically, musically. If you play the trumpet and you only practice a little bit versus if you practice a lot, you're going to get a whole lot more out of that, and you're going to be a much better trumpet player if you're all in on practicing and playing the trumpet.
So what inspired Hempfield to adopt the All In?
So I would say it was the presentation by John Paul Gonzalez and the conversations I witnessed him have with our students and our student athletes when he stayed around that day. Since I've become principal, we've had a theme each year. And so hearing that and seeing our students respond to it, it's kind of like very natural to be like, okay, great. Last year we were doing Raising the Bar. It's like, well, this is a great message. Our kids seem to like it, so we'll go with All In for next year. And I think it's very applicable to what we're trying to do and how we're trying to improve every day at Hempfield High School.
How do you engage parents and local organizations in this?
So one piece with All In, we've been sharing the message. And so at the beginning of the school year with the students, we handed out these All In bracelets, HHS All In. And when we had our back to school night parent meeting, I made these available for the parents too. So I wanted the parents to know about being all in. And so if they wanted a bracelet, not everyone's into these things, but they were able to take these. And then furthermore with that, in my weekly communication that I put out that anyone can access through our e-news if they subscribe, every week I include a link for parents and community members. If they have a teacher that they want to recognize for being all in, they can fill out a very short Google form, and then we recognize those teachers at our monthly faculty meeting. And the way that we're recognizing teachers this year is to be all in. It's, as John Paul Gonzalez talked about, being all in. It's kind of like having all your poker chips and you push them all in. So we got these all in poker chips for Hempfield High School, and teachers that get recognized, they get a chip, and they're putting their chips in to recognize that they're all in for Hempfield High School. And so I encourage community members and parents, if your teacher's going above and beyond, if you see them being all in, fill out that form and we'll recognize them at our monthly faculty meetings.
So how's the future for All In at Hempfield going to look?
We've got a whole host of activities planned by Student Council and NHS and other organizations. So they're going all in on what they're providing for the student body in our community. As we go throughout the school year, we've got our various sports teams. I've talked to Mr. Landis and to get the word to our coaches about, they can buy into the theme of being all in. And then all of our other activities, we're not looking to do things halfway or just with a little effort. We want to do them all the way. We want people to be all in, give their full effort, and do the best that they can in everything they do.
So final question, as the head principal, what does All In mean to you personally?
All in to me personally means, as the head principal, I need to be demonstrating all in with my actions. That means showing up every day, fully ready to go, totally committed to Hempfield High School, putting in the time, being out there in front of the student body, being out there in front of the community, and just kind of being the face and name of Hempfield High School and representing that to the best of my ability.
All right. Well, thank you, and thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
At Landisville Middle School, recognizing student achievements is a top priority. Katie Kriebik introduces us to Students of the Week and shares what makes these learners stand out.
Highlighting students is a fantastic way to celebrate and recognize their hard work. Not only does it boost their self-esteem, it also sets a positive example for their peers.
Here at Landisville Middle School, students showcasing their dedication can be given the title of Student of the Week.
I think for a lot of students, it becomes a bit of a goal for them, and there's a lot of chances, which is nice too. So we do try to pick a student almost every week that we can. So it gives them a lot of opportunities, but it's not necessarily something where they have to be called down, at a big assembly or anything like that.
Although Student of the Week isn't the biggest achievement, students are not just handed it freely.
They align pretty much with our core values here at LMS, so being safe, being responsible, being respectful, being engaged. A student that's been diligent and just putting forth good effort, turning all their work in, and even a student that we've seen improve.
After seeing why students earn the title from a team leader, I asked one of the recent Students of the Week what his peers should do to earn it.
I would just tell students to work hard and be engaged.
In recognizing Students of the Week at Landisville Middle School, we honor the students that are the school's core values. This achievement encourages others to do the right thing and work hard. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Katie Krebeck.
Choosing electives in middle school is a big deal for students. Carter Gingrich explores the exciting options available and how students are making those important decisions.
At the Hempfield Middle Schools, students are taking their education into their own hands, with new opportunities to select classes for themselves.
The electives offered by the middle schools allow students to explore new subjects and learn life skills.
In sewing, we get to make a pillowcase. In art class, we're working a lot with clay.
But a new system allows middle schoolers to play a role in building their own schedule.
Most of the process happened early last year when we got to kind of just choose how things went this year.
The students are doing most of it off the iPad pretty independently. They can show their iPad at home to their family and say, hey, this is what I put in. There's a window where they can make their own changes at home with their parents. So I feel like they have a lot more control over that, and I think it's a little bit easier for the family.
I got to pick my music class, and I also got to pick my language class.
They really have a lot more of independence with it.
This helps prepare the students for the choices they will make in high school, where they have more agency to pick classes that they are interested in, and for good reason. An interested student is a successful student.
So they can kind of build a little bit more of their own individual interests.
This year I'm taking Vocal Techniques B+, so that is full year, just kind of an extension off of last year.
Some high school formatting of selecting certain electives that you're a little bit more interested in. I'm not allowed to make those changes for them.
English? Hobbies. We're learning hobbies. Yeah.
This is a change for the world language courses, which now allow students regardless of achievement level to take French, Spanish, or German.
It is open to all students, so there is no prerequisite to take a language. You don't need to have a certain score on any English exam in order to take a German, French, or Spanish course. So it is up to the student what course that they want to take.
So that's given a lot of options for students that maybe hadn't been there in the past.
Middle school German teacher Frau Richter especially believes that these newer introductory courses will help all students become better learners.
German 1A is only one semester long. It's more of an introduction to German or French or Spanish, so we have it in those three languages at both the middle schools.
Right now we're learning mostly introductions and conversations, the beginner basic stuff.
It's an introduction to language, so it translates really well whether a student is taking French to move to German or German to French or French to Spanish. It introduces students on how to learn the language.
It definitely is helping them solidify some interest areas.
But hopefully a student chooses the language in the middle school that they enjoy enough that they want to take the full year in the high school.
Taking pride in their newly hand-picked classes, students at Hempfield's middle schools are eager to begin learning on their own terms and with their own unique schedules. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Carter Gingrich.
Genau. Okay, Leute. So.
Next, Allison Rainier takes us to Farmdale Elementary, where One Book, One School initiative is creating a community of readers. Let's see how One Book is uniting students, staff, and families.
Wow, Joel Weber. Just thinking about One Book, One School is a great way for kids to get to know students in different grade levels and explore an interesting book. I'm here at Farmdale Elementary to explore more about the program.
The book for One Book, One School this year is one that resonates well with most of the students.
This year we're doing The Wild Robot Escapes. So last year we did The Wild Robot by Peter Brown, and the kids loved it, so we decided to stick with The Wild Robot Escapes this year.
If you told him to stop, he would have stopped. One Book, One School helps involve students in all of the grade levels at Farmdale.
We still have our One Book, One School families. So we get together once a month with our families. Our families consist of kindergartners through 6th graders.
While One Book, One School helps students at different grade levels bond, it also helps homeroom classes get a lot closer.
We meet once a month with them and we read a portion of the book, and then we finish a portion of the book with our homerooms each month as well. So we're kind of combining the homerooms and the families, and everybody gets kind of part of that reading experience.
In addition to academic benefits, there are many social benefits to One Book, One School.
I think One Book, One School is a really big social piece in our building because it puts kids together in smaller groups across the grade levels so they get to know some of the kids throughout the school that they wouldn't know from being in their homeroom classes. They also get to know adults in the building in a different light. Having a teacher who they might not get till 5th grade being their family leader, they'll get to know that teacher before they get there. So it just really helps to build relationships across the building.
Overall, One Book, One School is a huge benefit to all of the students at Farmdale. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Allison Rainier.
Then it hits me. If he really has amnesia, is it possible that he doesn't remember?
Over at Hempfield, creativity is taking center stage with the Fit Walk t-shirt design contest. Alyssa Abo shows us how students are putting their artistic skills to work in designing the official shirts.
Fit Walk has been a traditional event for the Landisville Elementary Schools, a day where students, teachers, and parents can go outside for some fitness and fun.
So the Fit Walk is our biggest fundraiser every year, and 100% of the proceeds go back to the students and the school. It's a big thing to pull off, and we have a lot of people helping us, parent volunteers and the principals, but on the back of the shirts are corporate sponsors.
Since last year, the Fit Walk t-shirt design contest has opened up for the students. They have the opportunity to create and submit their own design to potentially be used on the t-shirts.
I like drawing on my iPad a lot, and my mom suggested it, so I thought it'd be fun to do. I was just thinking that the shoe is the main point of it. I was gonna add a speaker over the words Fit Walk, because it was too dark and I couldn't see it. So I just added music notes instead of the whole speaker.
We talk about that in art class, about how artists come in all forms, and some artists create clothing and some artists create music, and so it's a great way to show a real life example of that.
For Ruth, her process in this competition can be a stepping stone for her dream career.
I just think it's cool that I've been able to do it. I want to be a graphic designer when I'm older, so I thought it's the first time I'd done it.
These shirts get worn all throughout the year, so the kids will wear them just on an average day. So the winner gets to see their design all over the school quite a bit.
Besides the usual designing, there can be some alternatives for students who may not be as interested or confident in art.
I try to change up the lessons each week where we're using different types of materials to appeal to more students, or we talk a lot about how we can create art based off of our own interests or experience or our emotions. I think what I would tell all students, elementary all the way up through high school, is you never really know if you are good at something or if you like something until you try it. So don't be afraid to make mistakes and take risks and try things, because the worst that can happen is you might not like it and you just have to change your direction and try something else.
Some students, whether an aspiring artist like Ruth or not, simply require a little competition and encouragement in their abilities during their childhood. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Alyssa Abo.
As we gear up for fall, Bryce Jordan takes us to Field of Screams, a local attraction that's terrifying visitors and bringing a thrill to the season.
It's one of the first nights of the year here at Field of Screams, and we're here to see what all the fuss is about, maybe get a little scared, and ask some customers why they keep coming back.
This is just amazing atmosphere. I don't scare people. It's a good rush.
While to the scare actors, Field of Screams is an exciting place to let loose, I spoke to one of the founders of the park to see what he has put so much time and effort into, as well as what he enjoys most.
Field of Screams, if you don't know, is like 4 main attractions. We have the Frightmare Asylum, we have the Den of Darkness, and then the Nocturnal Wasteland. Most family-friendly of the events is the Haunted Hayride. And that's because you're on the wagon and you're somewhat protected from the monsters. Field of Screams started with just the hayride back in 1993, and that's what kicked this whole crazy project off. So, and it's really the crowd favorite at Field of Screams. It's unique because it's a ride and the scenes are just massive. It's very rewarding for us to see like everyone enjoying what we've worked so hard to create in the off season.
Field of Screams has attracted over 1 million customers worldwide. Many seem to enjoy all of the events, but some really enjoy one attraction in particular.
We just got off of the Haunted Hayride. Dude, it was so cool. The hydraulics and everything, with all those things moving, it was cool. It was really cool. All the actors are great.
Voted the #1 scare attraction by USA Today, it is considered quite scary. This being said, most come just to have fun. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Bryce J. Jordan.
Now it's time for Hempfield Highlights. Over the summer, the baseball team became 2024 PIAA 6A state champions, beating LaSalle 3-2. Also this past summer, Hempfield wanted to start an initiative to support students working over the summer. To start this, they partnered with Hershey Park, providing free transportation to students working there. The East Peak Elementary Blacktop got a nice makeover done by Two Dudes Painting Company over the summer, thanks to the East Peak Elementary PTO. Jim Murphy, a retired New York City firefighter and current Hempfield bus driver, shared his personal story with students about his experience as a first responder during 9/11. LPC 2nd and 3rd grade artists created a community curtain dream catcher where students wrote and illustrated their dreams, goals, and inspiring words to motivate them. And finally, members of the Hempfield community showed off their Black Knight pride at a local Stormers game. Go Stormers! And that wraps up this month's episode of Hempfield Happenings. Thanks for joining us, and don't forget to tune in next month for more stories from around Hempfield.